Later. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Broadbent Arena at your 2022 North American International Livestock Expo. Before we get started here today, would you please rise and remove cover as we play the national anthem? Thank you. Again, we would like to welcome you here in Broadbent Arena. And today we will be exhibiting in Ring B, your miniature Hereford show, and in Ring A, your American Aberdeens will be in Ring A. And over in your miniature Hereford show, we are beginning with Class 1. Again, we now in the ring is Class 122 of your pre-junior heifers over in your miniature Hereford show. And over in your junior moderator female show, we are ready for Class 130, spring heifer calves. Again, we are ready for Class 130.
Well, good morning to everyone here in Louisville. This is such an honor to be here and to get to evaluate the young people here in the Junior Mini Herefords. I want to take time to thank everyone behind the scenes and for the Mini Hereford Association for asking me to come up from Houston, Texas. So came in late last night and going to really enjoy the day of judging some really wonderful entries. Young lady here does an awesome job. Just want to brag on her before we start describing her calf. She's got a smile on her face, and she's happy to be here, and that's what we like to see from exhibitors early on in the morning. So good calf here to show. This is a real balanced calf. A calf that's proportional and even and tidy in her lines. And so from the start, we see her kind of kicking this show off with a bang in terms of quality. Really like her in terms of her muscle pattern, how it lays down her top line, really even and smooth, and she just tracks real good too. She gets out on that front shoulder, really grabs some ground and goes. And so like the way she flows and connects to the ground. She's just a smooth traveling individual. And the young lady gets her set up and parked right there, takes a really nice snapshot from the side. Young lady will be first place. Good start to the show. Let's give her a round of applause over here on this side. Nice job.
And in first place in Class 122 goes to Riley Purvis, exhibiting FFF Emma 2249. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 123. I would like to take this time to introduce your judge over in your miniature Hereford show, Mr. Ryan Cummins. Ryan grew up showing livestock beginning at the age of 8 years old and knows the industry from all aspects. He was born and raised in Burham, Texas, and raised on a small family farm just out of Chapel Hill. Mr. Cummins started his educational goals at Clarendon Junior College, where he was on the livestock judging and meat judging teams. He earned an associate's degree in science. Next up was Oklahoma State University, where he was also on the award-winning prestigious livestock judging team. He earned a bachelor's degree of animal science and a minor in agriculture communications. Ryan also earned a master's degree in Sam Houston State University in agriculture with emphasis on ag education. He currently has been an agricultural science teacher in Houston for 15 years. To date, Mr. Cummins has judged a variety of marketing and breeding cattle, sheep, swine, and goat shows in 45 states. His goal is to judge in all 50 states. Currently, he resides in Humble, Texas with his family, Tara, his wife, and their children. He truly enjoys spending time judging livestock shows and helping young showmen become successful in numerous forms of agriculture endeavors. Could you please join me in welcoming Mr. Ryan Cummins to judge your miniature Hereford show?
Well, good morning here on the American Aberdeen side. It's certainly an honor to get to evaluate these cattle and work with your kids today. Always an honor to get to judge here on the Green Chips of Louisville. And, man, we're starting off with a bang here in this late spring class. Young man's got an April heifer here that leads off, and, man, she's sure nice. She's one that you like studying her from not only a presence standpoint, but just in terms of true function and cow type. I love the true depth she has in her heart and the way she carries it. But with that, this is a female that, as we turn her to the side, still refined enough about her neck and the way her shoulder comes in her body and her top line. I think structurally that's where she has the advantage over the other two in the class, just a little more correct in terms of the angle to her pasture and usage of her hock. She is one in terms of condition. We probably don't want to push her much harder than she is. Starting to deposit just a little nickel down in that chest, so we better keep an eye on it. But a high quality female to lead off with. He's done a great job on the halter presenting her. From there, you have 2 and 3, and we've got a little differentiation in just types and kinds. This red and white heifer is one catches your eye, man. She has some presence to her, and not only from color, but just the way she's built and she sticks out. She is one that is just extremely extended through that front end. You love the neck set, the way her chest floor feeds into her body, and from there back, a female that has some genuine width to her, stoutness of bone and feature. I like all those traits about her. Combines it with a nice enough look. Comparatively, she's just one I'd like to see her set those hind two down just a little softer, more relaxed in terms of her pasture and give her a shot more foot size there, just to see her maybe a little more competitive with that ultra-functional one that we lead off with. But another one that has a nice-looking presence and a bright future. Young man's heifer that we have in third, I don't want to take anything away from her. She's one, again, I like in terms of just having some boldness through her center body. She has some thickness. She's level enough in her lines. She is a little shorter-sided type compared to those top two in terms of the length and the levelness through her hip. Maybe just push forward a little more in that shoulder and knee set there, but another high-quality female in a really nice class to lead off today.
Well, another single entry on the Mini Hereford side, and the young lady does an awesome job of getting this calf in, getting her shown really appropriately, and just knows how to get one stuck out here. I think we have more competition. We could really find this calf's strengths and characteristics just even better. I like this calf as a single, though. I think when you start to analyze her and you put your eyes on her, you notice a couple of features up front that are really just really awesome in terms of the way her neck naturally drops into her shoulder blade. She's smooth and elegant and has a lot of finesse up front, and so I really like the extra precision of the way that all the front end alignment of her is. And then the mechanics of her as far as her shoulder placement and how she reaches out and goes just really is the right way. Picking on her, if I could intensify her in terms of her bone strengths there in her hind leg set, I think that's one area that could probably be orchestrated change, but really nice female from the side in terms of the levelness of her hooks to pins and just the extra poise and presence of her front 1/3. Nice job, young lady. You'll be our top candidate out here in this class. Let's give her a round of applause.
And in first place in Class 123 in her miniature Hereford Pre-Junior Heifer Show goes to entry number 2, exhibited by Nikela Ostusen, exhibiting RRSIF. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 124. And over in your junior moderator female show, placings from Class 130 spring heifer calves are as followed. First place goes to entry number 50, TNG Tiger Lily, exhibited by Andersona Ornette. Congratulations. Second place goes entry number 48, CLT Miss Red Perf 01K, exhibited by TSC exhibited by Michael Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. And third place goes entry number 49, AZP Kentucky Rose K10, exhibited by Austin Pito from Cynthiana, Kentucky. Congratulations.
Well, as we get back here on the American Aberdeen side, just a single entry, but I think a little March heifer here that could hold her own against plenty and still get along. Young lady's done a nice job presenting her out here. But, man, you study this heifer. To me, she's where maybe a lot of good things come together in terms of having stoutness and style with enough function in her kind. Man, she's got a presence. She's one that balances up, catches your eye. And, you start at her head, work your way back, and it doesn't quit. One that has that added look and bone with a little more foot size and correct use there through her joints. I do like the added thickness she has as you step in behind her. Just an awfully nice individual here and a heck of a little showman. Let's give her a hand, please.
And first place in Class 131 over in your junior moderator show goes to entry number 53, KAJ crowd favorite 182K, exhibited by Cameron Jones of Chapin, Illinois. Congratulations. We'll now be selecting your champion junior heifer calf.
An outstanding pair of heifers here to evaluate and describe as we go through this particular class of mini Herefords. Again, if you're sitting up in the stands and you came to watch a mini Hereford show, you're sitting in a good spot because the quality so far entering into our third class has been absolutely superb. I do like this top heifer, though, as we initiate the lineup. Kind of dig in and evaluate her a little bit more than some of the others in this lineup. Based upon her appearance and her phenotype, she is really striking and alluring up through her front 1/3, holding a big advantage over the heifer in 2 in terms of elongation and neck extension and just how it drops naturally into her shoulder blade. Also, this particular heifer is really wide set behind her shoulders. She's got a really strong pin set. Really like the amount of substance there from her pin down to the bold part there, the feature of her lower quarter. And so when this heifer tracks around the arena with the strength and security that she has in her lower joints, she is really impressive as a unit. Heifer there that goes to is one that's really bold and very functional in her own ways. Appreciate that heifer when she's out here in the move, but really like the extra convex look about her midsection, how it comes out of the top of her spine with a lot of curvature and spring arch. Really like the parts and pieces of her from her shoulders back. If I could change her or modify her, I'd like to clean her up and maybe lean her up in that neckline just a bit. Just gets a little rounder jawed, a little square-headed for me up front, but definitely a nice female in terms of the extra capacity and dimension that she has. Young man there did a good job. Let's give them all a nice round of applause to our juniors.
And first place in Class 124 over in your pre-junior heifer show over in your miniature Herefords. First place goes to entry number 4, exhibit KLD Dream Catcher 489J, exhibited by Colt Berkheimer. And in second place goes entry number 3, KMH Sky's the Limit, exhibited by Wyatt Knotts. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be Class 125 over in your miniature Hereford pre-junior heifer show.
Well, as we get over here in this American Aberdeen show, again, the moderators here, just these 3 individuals, all impressive. I think you see a little variation in type and kind, and, you know, anytime we work with a breed and maybe open things up and see how other breeds can complement or work with them or vice versa, it can get that way. But we get out here, and these 2 class winners, I think, are both pretty special in terms of just what they bring to the ring, their type and kind, and you just got to sort through them and see which one maybe fits you the best. We've got the young men's heifer out of that first class. You could really just appreciate the maternal silhouette she presents you. She's one that comes at you just pretty refined through that front end, good in her shoulder. You like the middle, the way she drops in and reads there from the point of her chest back through her flank. She is a female that I like the extra length she has all the way through. I understand, don't want necessarily big frame cattle or me anyway. I like the moderation, but I do like the length of body. She doesn't have to be tall to be good, and I think you read that in her. I mean, you could just, you know, magnify that 1 times 10, and she's going to fit right in several of the shows running around out here this week. We get the young lady's heifer out of the next class, and I think this one's super intriguing. I mean, she has some outlier type pieces in terms of just her bone, her hair, and the look that she has. I like those parts about her. You know, as she gets older and comes, you know, today out here, she still wants to run up in her flank just a little bit yet, but that's something that can come with some time. But you love the stoutness she has, and again, that quality look that she presents you. Another one that you could just magnify times 10, and she's going to fit right in as we project her out in some of the other shows. So I think it's close. I think they're both extremely good in their own way. The female that just fits me a little more and the type and kind that I prefer is going to be young man's heifer on my right. He'll be our champion. Young lady will be reserved. Let's give these kids a big round of applause, please.
Well, really fun class here to judge and evaluate. This top heifer in this lineup is quite a dandy out here. You start to see her, and when she comes to a stop, you're really magnetized towards her glamour and her allure out here. Just a really stamped high likability heifer in terms of freshness of condition, balance, and uniformity. She's very symmetrical, and I like the stamped squareness of her hooks to pins and the placement of her hip and the stoutness that she presents all the way down to the surface of the ground. Here's a big hoofed individual that's got some spread to her toe and some evenness and squareness to all 4 of her toes. Really like her when she's standing or moving, but really that kind of image right there is super photogenic and just really outduels the heifer in 2 when we see her in terms of her eye appeal. Heifer that goes to a little rough-haired out here, but I do like her in terms of how even she is and level she is behind her shoulders and out of her hip. She's really square, and I like that image that I see that's presented in terms of her natural phenotype as well. Picking on her gets a little extra neckline on her than she probably needs, so we could decrease some of that and edit some of that out of her neckline just a notch and clean her up and make her fresher. But it's a heifer that just gets a little out-muscled in this group. we could just see her a wider set and maybe just a wider movement there at the lower region of her hocks, she could be more competitive in this class. Let's give them a round of applause. Nice class here for our juniors in the Mini Herefords.
And first place in Class 125 goes to entry number 37, KLD Eve 010J, exhibited by Riley Purvis. Congratulations. Second place goes to entry number 5, RR Skidda, exhibited by Elijah Osothen. Congratulations. We'll now be ready to select your Champion Prix Junior Heifer. Again, we are ready to select your Champion Prix Junior Heifer and your Miniature Hereford Prix Junior Show. And over in your Junior Moderator Female Show, your Champion Junior Heifer comes out of Class 130. TNG Tiger Lily, exhibited by William Wadsworth from Herm, Maine. Congratulations. And your Reserve Champion Junior Heifer comes out of Class 131. KAJ Crowd Favorite 182K, exhibited by Cameron Jones from Chaplin, Illinois. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
As we get back in this show here on the American Aberdeen side, again, just a really nice female that you like from just being a broody type in terms of just her presence and body mass. I mean, big-centered, one that sure has some natural thickness as you step in behind her. You like all those traits about her. One that still proportions pretty good from the side, and we would still like to tweak her in some spots. To me, she's sure pushing that threshold in terms of condition. As you read her, just in her chest floor and just over her body shape around her tail head there, one we sure wouldn't want to lay much more condition on it. And I think that if you study her in terms of her structure, she moves okay, but probably could still get out and move with more flex and reach and keep her feet a little square underneath her in terms of both ends when she gets out in stride. But on the stand, sure, a high-quality individual. Young lady does a nice job presenting her there. Nice female in this single-entry class.
And first place in Class 140 Summer Yearling Heifers over in your Junior Moderator Female Show goes to entry number 55, PFF Crew, exhibited by Lauren Pride from Leamington, Maine. Congratulations. Please note that Class 135 Senior Heifer Calves was a scratch. It was a scratch, and now entering the ring will be Class 142.
Well, as we make our final declarations out here on the heifer side, really appreciate the phenomenal entries that topped our classes. Excuse me. These set of heifers are just really remarkable as we go through each of those lineups and remember the competitive levels that they had to be at to win them. We also had some single entries out here that established themselves in this lineup as very competitive options out here for the judge. And so I really appreciate this good lineup. If I can just talk, I'm sorry I got clogged up there. This is a good group, and I think there is a heifer, though, that we settle in on, and you kind of land on her, and I think she's the top end, and I think she's the one that starts us off and gives us such a great spot there to kind of work off of as we go through and do comparison mode of all of these top-level females. But that being said, the best one in the lineup is the first one that I laid eyes on this morning, and so the young lady there out of Class 1, you're our champion. Let's give her a round of applause.
And your Champion Pre-Junior Heifer and your Miniature Hereford Show goes to the entry number 1, FFF Emma 22249, exhibited by Riley Purvis. Congratulations.
As we get over here with March Yearlings on this side, a young man brings another good individual. I think she's one you can find a lot of utility in her. She's a wide-based heifer that's just really one that feeds in with some width of chest, has some boldness there in terms of her rib cage, her heart, and the way she carries it back through her pin set. She's sure a female you like from a natural thickness standpoint. And you like her pretty good in terms of, you know, she's at that age where it gets tough managing body condition, and they kept her, for me, just right on in terms of freshness. I think as we study this one from the side, I love the length of body in her. I might like to see the pieces just come together a little more smoothly in terms of the way her neck hooks into her shoulder blade there up high. We'd like to see that a little smoother in the way her tail head lays in her. Just a little coarser and not maybe quite as neat in the way they come. And then she comes to the ground, and she takes a long enough stride, maybe not as free and athletic as some, but I think certainly functional enough. Just a really solid individual here that sure has some length and thickness you can breed on. Good job, young man. Let's give him a hand.
And first place in Class 142 over in your Optimizer Junior show goes entry number 57, AZP Rose J01, exhibited by Austin Pito from Cynthiana, Kentucky. Congratulations. We are now ready for Class 143 Junior Yearling Heifers over in your Aberdeen Optimizer show. Moderator show. And over in your miniature Hereford show, your reserve champion pre-junior heifer goes to entry number 4, KLD Dreamcatcher 489J, exhibited by Colt Berkheimer. Congratulations. And we will be now moving on to Class 126 pre-junior prospect steers. And over in your junior moderator Aberdeen show, we are working on Class 143 junior yearling heifers.
Well, again, we get into a single entry here, and man, a bred heifer that comes out here, and again, one of those just catches your eye and has a lot of good to her. I think you study her. She's coming to be a January and bred up almost right on time there, and that's sure impressive because not only are we getting her in production at the right moment, but you're also getting to see a little udder quality form down there. And, sure going to be refined enough in terms of her teat size. I think as she comes to milk, maybe that'll level on out just a nickel. But that's being picky on an udder that's sure going to work. Now, coming up from there, we have plenty of good to brag about in this one. I think she is one that just, to me, is eye-catching in terms of the way she comes together. I think she's right on in terms of condition and freshness for a heifer this age, where she's at in her stage in life. And again, it doesn't matter if you catch her coming at you or going away. There's some natural thickness in this one, some views you sure like in her in terms of structure and the way she comes to ground. I think she's proper in the usage of her joints. Just being a little picky, it just took that tail head in her just a tickle neater, but that's throwing rocks at one I like awfully well. Really nice bred heifer here in this single entry class. Let's give this young man a hand.
When our pre-juniors here, we've got a steer class and a lone entry in the barn. In this division, young man really is showcasing a calf that's got a lot of pizzazz about him in terms of the way he's manufactured and formatted. This calf merges so much force and power down his top, right through his chest floor, all the way back. You can just see him really eclipsing the extra amount of substance that it takes to be competitive in classes that have a multitude of entries. Being the lone survivor in this lineup, he is really ideal, and he looks the part. He's well fitted out here, and he's fresh out here in his look. Young man did an awesome job of getting this calf prepared and ready for the show. Good job, young man. You take the blue ribbon and an easy winner out here. Let's give him a round of applause.
And over in your miniature Hereford show, we didn't have no entries for your prospect steer show, so we moved on to your Division 21 pre-junior market steer show. And first place in automatic junior market steer champion goes to entry number 6, Lucky 945, exhibited by Deacon James. Congratulations. We will now be moving on to Class 128 in your junior heifer miniature Hereford show.
Well, back over here on the American Aberdeen side, man, what a division of heifers. Very impressive. And, today hadn't had just huge numbers, but every individual in the class is high quality and certainly get your attention, and you can find a lot of good in this division. I think it's competitive. I think it is certainly tough because every one of these individuals you could make a play on using them, and I'll just tell you real quickly what I see in them again. The big baldy heifer out of that first class in this age group, you got to just acknowledge from a sheer mass standpoint. She is huge middled. You love that center rib in her, the dimension she's carrying. She's one that sure has some proportion and balance to her. Would just like to tone her down a nickel on condition there, and I think that would help her get out and go just a little better when she gets out on the move. Young man's heifer there out of the middle class. I love the length of body. She's extended as any. I like the natural thickness she has. Would just like to see her hook up just a little smoother in terms of her top line and the way her shoulder and tail head lay in her. But again, an extremely nice heifer there. He does a good job presenting her out here. Then we get the young man's oldest heifer here, this one that's starting to show a little more calf. You've got to really like the goods she puts together in terms of style and catching your eye. She does that with natural thickness and freshness in terms of condition. I think her structure sure suitable enough for me. That's going to be our division champion today. Young ladies, baldy will be reserved. Let's give these kids a hand.
Well, as we dive right into our junior heifer show, this is a nice class to get us cranking and initiate some lineups that I'm sure are going to be very diverse, very competitive, and so it's going to be fun as the judge to go out and sort them. But tell you what, the young heifer calf here in this lineup, maybe the youngest calf we'll see all day in and out of the rings, is the one that hit me the strongest from the first motion into the arena. Like her balance, like her quality. She's stylish, and I think when they're stamped with some extra eye appeal and attractiveness at any age, but being fed and managed the way she is early on, she's just really correct. Really like the extra depth of body that she presents. Love the amount of muscle, substance, and power that she has at such a young calf age here in this lineup. The heifer that goes to is really stout. I love her hind leg set. I love the extra perennial look of her pin set and the extra bone dimensional makeup that she has in and out of her pelvic. Picking on her when she walks out of her front shoulder, maybe I'd like to lay that shoulder blade back in her just with a little better angle and see her track out with some better mechanics out of her front knees. But she's a good female, and I think when she stops, she's ultra competitive, takes a wonderful picture from the side, and she's definitely one that I would find in my keeper pin. Definitely a nice effort to land second. They go 1-2 in class. Let's give them a round of applause.
And first place in Class 128 over in your junior heifer miniature Hereford show goes to entry number 7, KLDAA. She's a Princess 5K, exhibited by Kaylin Dops. And second place in that class goes to entry number 8, FCC Cupcake Surprise, exhibited by Maddie Floor. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering will be Class 129 miniature Herefords. And over in your junior moderator female show, your champion junior yearling heifer goes to entry number 58, KPL Jackie 8181, exhibited by Casson Jones of Chapin, Illinois. And your reserve champion junior yearling heifer goes to entry number 55, PFF Crew, exhibited by Lauren Pride, Leamington, Maine. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We will now be selecting your junior grand champion moderator female.
Well, we get out here for our champion drive here in this particular group of the moderators, and man, what 4 great heifers! And they don't all look alike, but I don't care if what breeds you've raised through the years. If you've been in the beef cattle business, you can find value in each one of these and good. And if you own them, you'd sure be excited about what you could produce on down the road from them. And I think that's what it's about. 4 outstanding young people here on the halter. I'm even more impressed with them, the quality of the showmen and what they're getting done out here. I think it's awfully good because it's tough, it's competitive, and that's the way it should be. It started, with this heifer here that wins that first division. I think that one's an ultra high quality individual that you like, and just all the good she puts together. She's one that you like her in terms of her profile and what she presents you. And like I stated in that particular division, she's pushing right on that threshold of condition. We sure don't want any more on her, but I think she's sure one that has a lot of good, good in terms of her profile, her levelness of lines, her body type, and what she has. Young man's older bred heifer out of that last division, again, came out of a competitive group. There was a good heifer in each one of those entries in that particular age group. This one being just dialed up a little more in terms of where she's at in the level of production, and she should be, and that's great because her age, you're seeing that udder starting to pop on her, but you're also seeing another one that presents you a lot of quality. I love the levelness she has from the point of her shoulder through her hook bone there. She's a female that has some natural thickness as you study her from behind, and then as she comes to the ground structurally, I think she sure flexes and reaches pretty good as well. When he gets her head up, she paints you an awfully good silhouette. I do like those added little advantages she has in terms of just popping some udder and where she's at in this stage of the game. So I think it's really a close decision here. Time will tell. But to me, the one that just sticks out, I like in terms of and appreciate getting them to that point is the young man's bred heifer for holding together at that age. She's going to be our champion, but I'm going to go real quick to this calf for reserve. Let's give those kids a round of applause, please.
And your junior grand champion moderator female goes to entry number 58, JPL Jackie 181J, exhibited by Casson Jones of Chapin, Illinois. Congratulations. And your reserve champion moderator female goes to entry number 50, TNG Tiger Lily, exhibited by Austin Pito of Cynthiana, Kentucky. Entry number 50, TNG Tiger Lily, exhibited by William Wadsworth of Herman, Maine. Congratulations.
Well, a superb class here and a good set here in the top 3. I'm going to speak to all of the entries on their way out, but we'll kind of keep things moving here today and talk to top 3 on the microphone on these larger classes. This top heifer is one that's pretty spectacular out here and has a really big performance, just natural orientation about her and a big advantage in terms of size and scale and scope. I like her power. I like her look. Her tail head can be a shot distracting, but you get past that and you analyze the female respective of the contemporaries that she's up against, and she just outduels everyone out here. There's more of her. There's more natural power and substance, and she's a nice female in terms of her look and in terms of the way she travels. There's a lot of good points and features there to really see on her. Then we go into number 2, and her navel is also a shot distracting, but boy, she's got some extra balance and some extra proportionality that give her a big edge in this lineup. A calf that's a little bit more genuine out here in terms of the width and spread and her condition score. Really like her in terms of that up-headed look and just the way her neck pops out of the top of her shoulder correctly. It really laces into that blade the way I like them. Heifer there that goes 3 caught my eye when she first walked in because she's so square made, and so she's deep and even and tidy in her lines. Maybe a nickel plane up through her shoulder and her chest floor. Maybe not the exceptional look of the top 2 heifers in terms of the way her neck parts into the midsection of her neckline, but she's a good female and definitely one well deserving to be in the top 3. Probably just want to see her have a little bit more jazz and look up front. It's a good lineup, some nice calves on this side as well. Let's give them a round of applause. Good class of mini Hereford.
And placings in Class 129 miniature Hereford females are as followed. First place goes to entry number 11, KDL Sweet Caroline 598K, exhibited by Katie Dopes. And second place in that class goes to entry number 13, MLT Trapped in Time Ferrari, exhibited by Tana Trapp. And third place in that class goes to entry number 10, JH Kinsley, exhibited by Adeline Jackson. And fourth place in that class goes to BMH Star, exhibited by Emma Bush. And in fifth place goes to entry number 49, WEF Miss Crystal, exhibited by Lane Valdehair. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 130 Junior Heifers in your miniature Hereford show.
Terrific trio out here, mini Hereford females in a class that is starting to raise the bar, I would say, as we go through, and we've seen a bunch of classes in and out so far, but this top level, really highly valued female here in that top spot is just one of the better ones that we've seen in and out of the arena so far. Caught my eye immediately when she comes in, and again, it's hard to take your eyes off of her because she's just that attractive and that balanced. That kind of extra sweep that she has in her underbelly is very the right make and model, especially for the type that I prefer. And she is really functional. She gets out here and is really mobile in the way that she travels, connects to the ground with some fluidity. Just a really nice, well-made female that has the power, has the volume, and the structural integrity take her a long ways. The heifer that goes too, although she ran up against one there that we just talked about a lot, I do like her individually. I first noticed her when she came in there, and she can come out and really stride as good as any of them. She's got a good natural stride in her in that front shoulder blade, and how she goes about that, connecting the hind leg to the front feet there. Really like that about her. When she comes to a stop, I think you can pick on her up front. She does get a little heftier in the way her lower neckline is starting to fill in, and so we want to clean her up and freshen her up there underneath her throat latch. You could, but boy, she's a blossoming heifer. She has got all kinds of bloom about her in terms of the spring of rib. A really well-made female from her shoulders back. Heifer there that goes 3, maybe the heaviest muscled female of all of them in terms of just how she's assembled down her top and from behind. Maybe a little more terminal in her look comparatively in the group. There's some more maternal featured females in the lineup as compared to her. But if you're looking to get some sires out of one, and certainly some that project the muscle pattern that she has, she'll really elevate a breeding program in that regard. Nice job. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations.
And placings from Class 130 over in your miniature Hereford female show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 12, Arnon Kisses E.T., exhibited by Abigail Mefford. And second place goes to entry number 16, Arwen Jade E.T., exhibited by James Glassby. And in third place goes to entry number 14, Little Miss Poppy, exhibited by Chloe Thomas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 131. Please note there is an added entry 149, Emily Stewart. Again, there is an added entry in 131. And over in your Aberdeen side, we are ready for your junior full-blood Aberdeen female show with Class 126. Class 126 is now in the ring of your junior full-blood female show.
Well, out here in this class of the full-blood Aberdeens, 2 really nice heifer calves here, and I think there's a lot of likeness in these 2. There's certainly a lot of quality and good. Young ladies heifer we lead off with, just one that I like in terms of her balance and her build. She's one that's just really refined and feminine. I love the neatness she has and the angularity to her shoulder and the way it comes into her body. I think it's just a little more proper there in terms of the slope to her shoulder, her top line, and like her pin set as well. This little female is one that's sure sound enough on those feet and legs and the way she goes. As time goes, she matures, maybe gets just a little more rear rib and flank. She's going to present you an awfully good picture from the side. I think certainly a high-quality individual. Young man's heifer in second, I think a lot like her. Obviously, she's a little younger there, but you love just the neatness of neck she has. This little heifer relative to her size. I like the depth of heart she has and through her center body. Maybe just not as impressive from her hook bone back yet. Wants to funnel and just maybe get off a little bit there through her pin set. But again, a nice little female there that sure has some quality and good.
And please note that was an extra added class in your junior full-blood female show. Again, that was an added class, and first place in that class goes to entry number 51, exhibited by Amelia Bender of Lexington, Ohio. And second place in that added class goes to entry number 52, exhibited by Mathis Bender of Lexington, Ohio. Now entering the ring will be class 126, junior heifer calves. Again, in the ring now is class 126 of your junior full-blood Aberdeen show.
Single entry here in this early fall heifer calf class. Just study this one, and again, a heifer you can find a lot of good in. She's one that's just extremely long-sided. She has that extra extension. I like this one for having some just spring through her rib cage, some width in her back, and thickness as you get behind. We turn her to the profile, and you like her pretty well from that hook bone forward. I think her neck and everything ties in her properly. Coming in her top line, when she gets on the move, she wants to maybe just raise her loin up just a nickel there and dropping her hip. That's where I'd just like to change her up. But then we watch her come to the ground, and I think she has the proper use to her joints, good foot size underneath her. So just a really nice individual here in this class. Let's give this young lady a hand, please.
And first place in Class 126 Junior Heifer Calves goes to entry number 59, UF Mustang Sally, exhibited by Erica Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. Now we'll be selecting your champion senior heifer calf.
Well, as we get out of here, again, another single entry here in our August heifer class, and one I like a lot. I think, to me, not only does she have some show ring presence to her, but has a lot of the brood cow essentials you go looking for, and it looks like that kind. It's going to be awfully just productive in terms of her lifespan. You study her in terms of the angle and usage to her feet and legs. You like her there. We come on up from there. I love the genuineness she has right there through her heart. and the way she carries that back in terms of her midrib. There's a lot of body volume of that one, and not an excess amount of condition. And I think that's what we should be shooting for, is making sure we have that kind of rib cage in one, but we don't utilize fat to get there. And with that, when this young lady gets her set up and just loins her just a tick there, puts together a really nice look. And compared to some other heifers we've seen these earlier classes, she's not just as clean there in terms of her throat, but I think she's certainly appropriate there. And if anything, from just an ease of keeping look, I like that about her. Still doesn't throw her balance off, still doesn't affect her femininity. Just an awfully nice female here in this class. Let's give her a hand, please.
Tell you what, a tough class with some depth over here in the mini Herefords. We're going to go through and describe this top set, and again, went ahead and spoke to those on my left and gave them a little bit of how I saw the cattle, but definitely a neat group out here to sort out and to get organized as far as a lineup. Top heifer in this group really checks a lot of boxes off, and characteristics of good fundamental show cattle or females in general like her. She's just a good beef critter in terms of balance and quality. Very feminine image of one up front in terms of the lace of her neck, the headset of her, the big bright eye, a lot of ladylike features about her front 1/3. Give her a big edge in this lineup. Really good conditioned heifer that's fresh enough, but really the balance, the symmetrical value of her skeleton gives her just a wonderful outlook here in this group of cattle. The one that goes to, though, is super deep and level and really tidy in her lines from down her top line and out of her hip. There's a lot of bulk and a lot of density built into one that's as maternal as she is. Gets just a little heftier up front for me. I could lean her neckline up and clean her up there, the base of her brisket, but it's a good female, and I think she is really packing some volume. You got to take that into consideration in placement of the lineup. Heifer there that goes 3 just out muscles all the same contenders that are remaining in the group. Do like her quite well by herself. Picking on her, she's a little small out here in comparison to the top 2 heifers, a little shorter bodied and doesn't have maybe that crisp look that the others had, but remaining in this group, she's wider base, she's bolder, and I really appreciate the muscle volume that heifer has in her presentation. Let's give them a round of applause. Good class out here at Mini Herefords.
Another single here in this April class, and studying this heifer, really impressed with her when she gets out on the move. I think she is one that's extremely athletic in terms of her structure. Love the flex and the proper usage she has, the foot size, the squareness and length she strides with. And then we come up from there, and I think she's sure alongside of one there that's extended through that front end. Refined through her head and neck, and maybe that carries on through her just a little bit. If I'm going to change her, I would just like to give a little more thickness and width and pop to that one. But again, you like her from her structure standpoint. You sure like the overall neatness she has in terms of the angularity through that front third of her body. Let's give him a hand.
And over in your full-blood Aberdeen show, first place in Class 129 goes to entry number 60, UF Miss Wendy, exhibited by Ella Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. And in first place in Class 131 goes to entry number 61, MMB Jessica, exhibited by Mathis Bender of Lexington, Ohio. We will now be selecting your champion junior yearling heifer calf. Again, we will be selecting your champion junior yearling heifer calf in your full-blood Aberdeen show. And over in your miniature Hereford junior female show, first place in Class 131 goes to entry number 20, KLD at WCR Supernova 085 Jet, exhibited by Hannah Hogan. And second place in that class goes to entry number 149, THF Ray 12, exhibited by Emily Stewart. And third place in that class goes to entry number 118, HL Miss Minnie, exhibited by Emma Havener. And fourth place in that class goes to entry number 17, BGB Juana Cuddle ET, exhibited by James Gaspy. And fifth place in that class goes to entry number 87, 5A Caden's Cowboy Dream, exhibited by Caden Alexander. And sixth place in class 131 goes to entry number 19, KMH Tucker Sweet Melody, exhibited by Emma Bush. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be class 132.
Well, as we get out here in this division with these full-blood Aberdeens, a nice pair of heifers here, and certainly a little contrasting and just in type and what they bring to the ring. I think both pretty nice in their own way, but for me, there's one that's pretty dominating just in terms of one that has enough style and just comes with so much more in terms of brood cow fundamentals. I love the body mass and shape, the natural thickness and stoutness of structure she's carrying, and still proportions and ties together awfully well. Young lady's heifer here out of the first class in this age group will be our champion. Young man will be reserve division. Let's give these kids a round of applause, please.
And your champion junior yearling heifer goes to entry number 60, UF Miss Wendy 58G 18J, exhibited by Ella Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. And your reserve champion junior yearling heifer goes to entry number 61, MMB Jessica, exhibited by Mathis Bender of Lexington, Ohio. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We will now be working on class 137 yearling heifers in your junior full-blood Aberdeen show. Again, entering the ring now is class 137.
Well, a very deep and a very tough class here of mini Hereford females as we go through these three and again give you some good just natural reasons on these cattle and how they're sorted out. This particular group, this top heifer is a superstar, just a real radically designed female in regards to her contemporaries of this age category. Love her balance, love her muscle. She comes in and is really a real Ferrari in her look out here in terms of extra aurora and glamour, a lot of extra bold features about her center. She's very functional. I love the movement. I love how true and genuine her step is. But boy, when she comes to a stop, you take a snapshot and a photogenic look like she does, a lot of folks will definitely find some passion for one built the way she is. The heifer that's manufactured there in two is good too in terms of the length of spine she has, the length up through her front end. Very feminine imaged heifer there that catches my eye every time. In comparison versus the top calf, she could probably have a little bit better look there through her lower rear rib and flank region. Just maybe tightens up and shallows up a notch more than she should, but it's a good heifer, packed with power from behind, and I love her length. That's easily her best feature. Then we go into number 3, and the young lady does just a superb job of showmanship. Want to brag on her out here, getting a wonderful look at that particular female there with her dad showing as well. You know, that female gets a little more generic up front, a little bit more just naturally kind of a cleaner up if we could. She gets a little heftier up through that front 1/3, but very good female from her shoulders back, real even and tidy in her line. She's been fed real well and managed good. It's a nice job of that young lady exiting there. Let's give her and all of them a nice round of applause.
And placings for Class 132 over in your miniature Hereford female show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 22, HL Bad Bandit ET, exhibited by Abigail Mefford. And second place goes to entry number 23, FSC Hello Dolly 103J, exhibited by Huston Flinner. And third place in that class goes to entry number 21, Ivy Miss Jade, exhibited by Amelia Cragen. And please note, entry number 97 was a scratch. Again, 97 was a scratch, and we will now be working on Class 133 in your miniature Hereford female show. And please note there is an added entry, entry 148, exhibited by Amelia Stewart in this class. Again, there is an added entry in Class 133.
Well, we get out in this class, and I think the most competitive pair of animals we've had today, at least for me to sort through, I think it's a close decision, and I could see this maybe going either way on any given day. I think there's a lot of good to them, but some trade-offs in what they bring, and it's a close decision. Young ladies heifer we lead off with, I think some places that she excels. I think when she gets her put together, just one that's dead level in her top line. I like the neatness she has, a little better from her hip and her hind leg standpoint. The way she uses it, I like the smoothness in her tail head, the way it sets down in her pins, the way she uses that hawk on the go. She just has a little advantage there. You've got to love just the density that she's carrying as well, and proportion's pretty good. I'd be the first to tell you, I'd like to just tuck her in that chest and extend her a notch there in terms of her neck, but I think she is one just really solid from that standpoint back. Young ladies heifer we have in second, I like the extra extension she has through the front third of her body. I think it serves her well. She's another one that's sure sound enough, just maybe not quite as attractive back there from her hook bone, and as square from her hook bone back. The way her pins come in her and her tail head there, I think an awfully good heifer. I like the fact she's maybe just a nickel leaner in terms of condition. I think there's some trade-off in those two cattle. Great job, young ladies, and that pair of heifers. Let's give them a hand.
And first place in Class 137 senior yearling heifers are as followed. First place goes to entry number 63, UT Miss Tresha 28D, exhibited by Ella Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. And second place in that class goes to entry number 62, UF Miss Sparkle 37C 45H, exhibited by Erica Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. We will now be selecting your champion senior yearling heifer calf. Excuse me, entry 63 was automatic champion senior yearling heifer calf, and entry 62 was your reserve champion yearling heifer calf. Now entering the ring will be the selection of your junior champion full-blood female in your Aberdeen show. Again, we are selecting your junior champion full-blood female.
Well, as we get out of here in the full blood show on the American Aberdeen side, really impressive group of females here, just top to bottom in terms of some age spread. I mean, the quality from our heifer calf all the way up is impressive. You love the look and style that little calf has, man. She's neat, little rascal. It's going to be fun to see how that one matures because I think the pieces and parts are there. As we get on through the lineup, I think some competition lies in these other three young ladies circling out. I love the length that female has. I like the refinement she has about the front third of her body. She is one, as I stated earlier, you might just give her just a shot more middle there and just smooth her up there from her hooks to her pins and the way she handles her hip on the move. But I think on the stand, that one's sure attractive and has some presence. Young ladies heifer there third in the lineup out of that particular age group. Just really like this one in terms of just checking a lot of boxes for me. I like her in terms of just function. I think her stoutness and squareness is where she really has an advantage, and she still combines that with some freshness and proportion. She's maybe not quite as whistle-fronted as some, but I think she's certainly adequate and plenty feminine enough for me and her kind. Then we get to that oldest heifer that, again, as I stated, out of that really competitive pair, you just love the dead levelness in her top line, the hip and hind legs. She presents you the same kind of rib cage and body type you appreciate from a cow standpoint. Just like to maybe just, dial her back just a tick there in her chest and extend her out through her neck. But again, she's getting at that age, she's starting to look like a cow, and I don't hold her that against her too much. I do think there is one that's maybe a little more 12 o'clock today that I don't have to give up anything and get to a champion I like awfully well. Young lady third in the lineup is going to be our champion. Let's give her a round of applause, please.
Well, no doubt about it. The waters are really deep over here in this class, and it's one of the more challenging classes that has entered the arena so far in the mini Herefords. But I will say the one that we land on here to dig in on this lineup and land as the champion is a really nice class winner. And we'll see how she looks as she projects versus her competitive entries later on in the big drive. But, in this winning lineup here, for her to be the crown the champ, she is one of those that's super good on those feet and legs. And I think you watch her stride, you watch her in her movement, she gets out, and she's so comfortable out here, gives her a big edge. And then when she stops, the muscle projection over her top and from behind, extra elegant look that she has through her neckline. She's just checking off the boxes for me in a hurry. I do like her quite well. Then it gets really tough between 2 and 3. I elected 2 over 3. Probably 3 matches 1 better, but 2 is just one of those real striking image heifers that has some extra allure to her, well equipped for competitive levels such as this, maybe a nickel small. So that's where you pick on her. Does she have the same projection of size and scale and scope? And respective of the breed, I think she matches up quite well with the expectations. So a good female that's got balance and muscle, size is be adequate, and a good functional movement to her skeleton as she tracks around the arena. Then we go into 3, and there's your larger size, longer bodied female that gives you just more performance as far as width and spread. Maybe a little plainer though, and more generic about her neckline and how it laces into that lower chest floor. Front chest of that brisket region maybe sticks out a little farther forward than it should. So there's some areas of concern on her that I'd like to bring to attention, and probably want to see her just a little cleaner and more elegant through her front 1/3. But a good female there that can track as good as any of them, and you can watch her plant that old hawk down with some strength there. It's a good female to be 3rd. We've talked these on this side. It's a very, very deep class, and I'm very much impressed. Let's give them a round of applause. Nice job.
And placings in Class 133 in your miniature Hereford female show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 27, KLDCG Breathtaker 717J, exhibited by Isabella Shah. And second place goes to entry number 24, KK Get Her Guns Up, exhibited by Abigail Mefford. And third place in that class goes to entry number 26, FCC Easter Lily, exhibited by Maddie Flora. And fourth place goes to entry number 28, MLT Trapped in Time Cora CJ03, exhibited by Tana Trapp. And fifth place in that class goes to entry number 148, SS Miss Pie, exhibited by Amelia Stewart. And sixth place in that class comes to entry number 25, BMH Muffin, exhibited by Emma Bush. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be class 134 in your miniature Hereford show.
So I believe just a single entry here in our steer show. Young lady brings a nice kind of a steer that comes out here, and one you could sure find some positives in. I think he's one that sure balances up fine from the side. I think has the right kind of proportion in terms of just neck, mid-rib, and hip, and everything comes together. He is a calf that has some natural squareness right there over his back behind his shoulder where he carries that thickness back through his hip. Looks like he's going to feed pretty solid as well in terms of just his body type and rib cage. You know, wants to be a little ornery and fight the halter some, and I think that affects him just getting a little higher in his loin and dropping his pins. I don't think it's an absolutely just structural issue we need to face on him. I think it's more so just him relaxing for her. But a good solid kind of steer here. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Well, a really nice single entry here. A female, the young man with the cowboy hat on, is showing that has just a lot of maternal essence about her and qualities and features to put her in that front pasture in a hurry. Really like her in terms of when she comes to a stop or on the move. She's got the extra length, she's got the extra balance and body volume. At this stage of the game, to be an aged female that's still be in good condition and flesh, very much a respectable female there from a breeding standpoint, a good breeding token for that young man's herd, and definitely one that'll be competitive as we see her come back. Early on in her trimester there, already having some glow about her. Nice job. Let's give them a round of applause.
And over in your Aberdeen full-blood side, we'd like to congratulate your junior champion full-blood female to entry number 60, UF Miss Wendy 58G, 18J, exhibited by Ella Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. And your junior reserve champion full-blood female goes to entry number 63, UF Miss Tasha 28D, exhibited by Ella Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. And also we'd like to congratulate your junior champion moderator bull to entry number 64, Cab Jerusalem, exhibited by Amelia Bender of Lexington, Ohio.
Here in this particular prospect steer class, young lady's little maze steer, man, he comes out here and this is a attractive little rascal. He's one that certainly has a good profile in him. Love the length he has and just ties in good and hooks in good there at the top of his shoulder all the way down to the point. Blends in smooth to his body. One I like in terms of the strength and symmetry to his lines. Plants an attractive hip and hind leg. I think you study him, and he looks like he's going to be a good feeding kind as you study him through his center body. You know, at this age and weight, you can see there's some squareness at top, maybe just not overpowering there back through his quarter and stifle. But, man, you turning to the side, he's the eye-catching kind, and I wish her the best of luck with him. Let's give her a hand.
And your junior full-blood steer champion goes to entry number 65, AAB King Kong, exhibited by Amelia Bender of Lexington, Ohio. Congratulations. And that will conclude your junior moderator and full-blood Aberdeen show. We will be moving on to your showmanship division. Could you please give Mr. Blake Nelson another round of applause for coming out and evaluating your full-blood and moderator Aberdeen show?
Some bred females here in this particular class that, again, from a management standpoint, I'm going to tip my hat to both the young men there for doing their job and being good cattlemen out here, of having their cattle settled in, and especially on the show road, it's always tough to get them confirmed bred, but they're there and almost entering into the middle trimester of this top heifer. And again, you see the expansion and the width and the spread of her in comparison to the heifer, and two, she just really is a powerful individual in terms of the hip structural components, the extra muscle development, a female muscle system working down low through her lower quarter, carrying just a volume and an extra density about her that you really like. you could pick on her or maybe modify that neck just a notch. I'm real big on them being as lean of a front end and as feminine of an image as you can get, and so maybe we could see her have just a little tidier look there through her lower neck region, but it's a good female and a real broody one there. She goes around the arena. She's a force to reckon with. Then we go into number 2. Here's one that has the better front end, more feminine look about her shoulder placement, really nice neckline on her that drops naturally into her shoulder, and she connects well to the ground when she's out on the move. She just gets out horsed out here, a little shallower, a little more snug there through her middle. I'd like to loosen her up and soften her up to the midsection of her body cavity and deepen her up to make her more competitive. Nice job. Let's give them a round of applause. Good to pair out here to judge.
And first place in Class 135, your miniature female show, goes to entry number 30, 4 Wiley Autumn Angel, exhibited by Walker Wiley. Congratulations. And second place in that class goes to entry number 111, KLD Stillen Bases 077H, exhibited by Caden Alexander. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 136 in your miniature Hereford Junior Heifer show.
Well, we put our eyes out here in the middle of the arena on the last class before we embark upon our final drive, and so a nice female here, an aged female that's a little older than the rest, and definitely a nice female for that young man's breeding program. Some highlights on her is her front end for sure. You take a look at just from her shoulders forward, and it's picturesque as far as cleanliness and levelness of the top of her blade all the way where the neck comes out of it. Really a feminine headset and triangular headset about her. She is just ultra nice up front. From her shoulders back, if there's an area there that you want to change or see an edit to, you could probably deepen her up. She's just not as deep as she is comparatively to probably some of those at that stage of the game, but I do like her. I think she's definitely got some wonderful points about her, especially up front. And then when she tracks around the arena, if you look at her hip and her hind leg, that's the right kind. It's a good typiness to her. And again, just needs to let that calf evolve inside her and start to grow and develop. And that way she gets deeper there through her midsection. A nice female for the young man and a nice way to close our lineups here as we go into our final drive. Let's give him and all of them a nice round of applause.
And first place in Class 136 goes to entry number 31, Miss Annie, exhibited by Johnny King. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your champion junior heifer. I'd like to take this time to reintroduce your judge over in your miniature Hereford show, Mr. Ryan Cummins, currently residing in Humble, Texas with his family and his wife Tara and their children. He truly enjoys spending time judging livestock shows and helping young showmen become successful in numerous forms of agriculture endeavors. Could you please join me in giving Mr. Ryan Cummins another round of applause for evaluating your miniature Hereford show?
Well, I tell you what, it has been an absolute blast out here for me to step on the green ships. Last time that I was here, it was 2003, and I was judging for Oklahoma State. And so for me to come back to Kentucky in this realm and this role is just something that has been truly a dream come true. And want to certainly thank all of the exhibitors today for coming and exhibiting so many good ones out here. You can take a look with me if you're in the audience looking. I want to tell you thank you for clapping for the kids, because this is a junior show. These kids are what this whole program is built around, and so with them being able to exhibit such high caliber females, it's just been, like I said, an absolute blast to go through them and find some of them out here that just stand out to me. With that being said, there is some challenges to make the final decision. I feel like there's 3 or 4 of them out here are really, really made the way I like them. And so that presents a challenge mentally for me in terms of pressure selection-wise for myself. But I tell you what, I am just so thrilled to see such good quality. We have a lot of mini Herefords down there in Texas that show, and I've had the opportunity to judge at Houston and San Antonio, those shows, and this caliber here is really, really of the most exceptionalist and excellence lineup. So appreciate that, appreciate being able to sort them out, and sure, thank you to the NAILE for having me here. That being said, I'm going to go through and I'm going to give them one last long look, and I'll go out here and slap you a champion. But before I do that, if you're sitting there and you got someone you're rooting for, let's put our hands together and give them a big hand. Nice job.
And your grand champion miniature Hereford female goes to entry number 12, ARWM Kisses ET, exhibited by Abigail Mefford. Congratulations. And your reserve champion miniature Hereford heifer goes to entry number 27 at KLDCG Breathtaker 717J, exhibited by Isabel Shaw. Congratulations. We will now be ready for your Junior Prospect Steer Show with Class 137. Again, we are ready for your Junior Prospect Steer Show with Class 137 in your miniature Hereford show. And over here in your Aberdeen show, we would like to welcome Mr. Blake Nelson from Platte City, Missouri. Blake is the Executive Vice President of the American Maine and Jew Association. Prior to the AMAA, he was on the investor and livestock coordinator at Connors State College for 15 years. Blake and his wife Ruth are blessed with 2 children, Paisley and Brigham, and the Nelsons raise and exhibit Simmental and Semi-Angus cattle. Again, could you please welcome Mr. Blake Nelson from Platte City, Missouri, out here to evaluate your showmanship divisions.
Well, as we get out here in showmanship on the American Aberdeen side, I think it's pretty cool that you guys have a college division, and just knowing enough as someone who worked in education and started a show team at a college there in Oklahoma a few years back. I think it's neat to have this so those kids that are working with these animals every day can go out and everyone gets to exhibit and compete, because they are the ones putting in the time, and I think that's pretty cool the breed's doing that, and certainly taking this serious, because I'm sure someone's going to get a banner today, but there might be a little smack talked as y'all go back to school, and that's okay. Y'all can just harass each other, but make sure it's positive and just help each other get better. That's ultimately what we're about. And I think it's great to have that kind of program, and commend you guys for putting in the time to do it and not just being an average college student, doing something extra. So that's great. Out here, this showmanship's tough. I was teasing that short fella on the end. He's the only one tough enough to come out here and compete with these young ladies. And before I go out and select my champion, I do want to give him a round of applause for that, because not everybody can come do that, bud, and he's doing a good job. There are some awfully good showmen out here, and obviously some of the cattle had probably been down the road a little more and staying more relaxed, and that helps. But then after that, you've still got to do your job and making sure they're squared away and set up, and then also presenting yourself. And I think there's a pair of young ladies that's just awfully, awfully good, and it's really a coin toss on how you sort them. But I think it's, again, a great group. I'm going to make one more pass, select your champion, collegiate showman. But let's give these kids a big round of applause, please, for their time out here today and effort.
Steer lineup out here, a little diverse and maybe just a little atypical and when you go in comparison mode of these two, but I do like them both for different reasons, and we'll go through them and describe them and tell you the highlights on both of them. The young calf is one that catches my eye, probably the quickest and the soonest of this particular group of cattle when we see him on the side profile. His balance, his uniformity, seems to have just a real nice merge of body style and type. How he's all fabricated out here is a bit better and smoother and just has a better pattern to him when I view him from the side. I do like him down his top. He's pretty young. He's really early on to study him in terms of his muscle development, but it already projects with some extra expression and tone. He's a very athletic young steer calf there in the making. Calf that goes to, here's a real sturdy individual. You look at his bone structure and his upper body skeleton, he's got some extra power and some body volume to him for sure. Probably not as organized of it as we see him from the side as compared to the younger calf. Wants to raise his spine up and his loin up a bit more than he should, and maybe his shoulders protrude out a bit more than I like them, but do like his substance. I like his thickness early on, and about 900 pounds. Calf is already putting on that weight and dispersion the way we like them from a carcass standpoint. And we go into selection mode out here, and this is a show, and I like show cattle. I'm going to use the young man out of Class 1 as the winner in this lineup. Young man there will be behind it.
And your champion junior prospect steer and first place in Class 137 goes to entry number 32, FCC Pretty Boy Lloyd, exhibited by Garrett Floor. Congratulations. And your reserve champion junior prospect steer and second place in Class 137 goes to entry number 34, EL Sam, exhibited by Trenton Havener. Congratulations. We're now ready for Class 138 junior market steers.
Well, very nice single entry. Young man, red shirt, brings in, and tell you what, this calf's got some ripple to him in terms of muscle expression and tone over his top. He comes at you just as wide as he does as he goes away, and so he balances well, and he's got some extra muscle flair about him that's going to give him a big edge as he matures out. You know, maybe at times his tail head, as it raises up, it can be a notch distracting. So if we want to maybe just tone it down and see it just a little bit better in terms of where it laces into his top portion of his pelvic, you can. But it's a good, very good individual there. He's a prospect steer with a lot of muscle and a lot of chances to do some really good things as he gets older and gets more weight dispersion. We'll see how he turns out, but out here today, young man gets the blue ribbon. Let's give him a round of applause.
Well, we get out here in this division of showmanship, and just a pair of young ladies here, but both done a really good job. And to me, one part I love the fact, and I think sometimes in showmanship we can get wrapped up in all the antics of what people are doing themselves and forget to make sure we do our first job, which is present our animal correctly, make sure those feet and legs are where they need to be, their posture is correct, and then showing yourself off. And I think both of them do a great job just keeping an eye on that and getting them presented. After that, it comes to some ring presence and just how smooth you are in your transitions out here. There's, to me, one of the young ladies I think just does a phenomenal job, and I wouldn't care if we were taking in a big-time heifer or bull over in Freedom Hall to show. I would be perfectly comfortable having this one on the strap because I think she does an outstanding job. Young lady with the baldy is going to be our champion. Let's give her a round of applause.
Well, no doubter out here is another single entry, and an entry that can be very competitive if there were more at this stage and at this weight. Young lady there is doing an excellent job of getting this calf presented, and I'm seeing some good, really strong features of this calf in terms of naturally his width and his muscle. But I think the thing that accelerates him in a big lineup, if there were more, is his natural compositional cohesion. He's just smooth out here, just so even and really comes together super good in terms of his skeletal makeup. He's not one of those that has a hard time of transitioning from shoulder to middle. It just really forges together and merges together so well. Really a nice calf there with some tone, some muscle flare, but some extra body, a fullness about him that gives him just a big, big chance to do some wonderful things. I like this calf. I want to see him in the lineup here shortly. Expect some nice things there and rewards for that calf. Let's give him a round of applause here, first place in class.
And first place in Class 139 goes to entry number 35, Easy Nello's Little Tank, exhibited by Kylie McDonald. Congratulations. And first place in Class 138 goes to entry number 150, Jack HSC 421, exhibited by Bailey Mullins. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be Class 140 of your Junior Market Steer Show.
I think as we get out here in this group of showmen, a really competitive group, and I commend all their efforts. I think all of them do a pretty solid job, but there is an individual for me that maybe was just a little smoother and pretty quick to get their animal set up and presented out here. And it comes to some of those little things that sorts it when the competition gets tough. I want a showman that is smooth in transition, nice and easy with the show stick. And remembering the show stick is a tool to help you present the animal, not a weapon. And now when you're back at home, it might be a different story when you're breaking on them. But out here, we need to just make sure we take it nice and easy with that stick because that can affect how that animal is going to stay set up for you, just how to utilize that. But again, showman I think is awfully good and just nice and smooth. I love how quickly they were to get their stance and keeping their spacing correct as well. For me, it's going to be the young man here in the front. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
Well, I'll start the set of reasons off saying that I like both of these steers, and I think they're in different places currently as they are maturing and growing and developing. But, you know, the calf that I lock into and start this lineup with just has the big advantage of boldness and extra volume right through its center rib. He's a better bellied calf that's softer and seems to have been fed with a little bit more natural body just depth. And there's certainly a lot of power involved in him. He's really a firm handling calf. I didn't get to handle the calf in two, but just putting your hands on number one's top line, you see and reveal so much more power and strength and there's just a really wide build and kind of a calf there, and I like that about him a great deal. What I like the most about 2 is what I would love to interject between the 2, and that's the length. The number 2 is so long-sided, so long and clean up through his front end. He'll give you quite the presence through his front 1/3 that definitely can take into consideration when you're placing these 2, but it's how he falls off through his forerib and how he gets pretty snug and tight through his middle. He doesn't have that robust center about him like the calf here in the top spot, and consequently gets a little narrower down his top too as he tracks away from you. But I do like them, and I wish we could mix and match, and we can't, but there's some good cattle right there that, again, are in different stages. Nice job. Let's give them a round of applause.
And first place in Class 140 goes to entry number 38, J.H. the Grinch, exhibited by Adeline Jackson. And second place goes to entry number 36, the Good Steer 123, exhibited by Adeline Shaw. Congratulations. We are now ready for the selection of your champion junior market steer. Again, we are ready for the selection of your champion junior market steer in your miniature Hereford show.
Well, most definitely an exciting group of steer calves, and as we've seen them in the respective lineups, I think all of them very well deserving to be out here in this final round and finale. But, you know, you look at all 3 of them, and I think there's one out here that just excels the rest in terms of all those good fundamentals of what market steers present themselves at, even at early stages. I think there's a calf out here that still has some time and is going to change a lot and grow, but boy, all the things and trends of this calf are in the right direction and heading straight north. Like this calf a lot. I liked him when he came in, and again, we talked about his correction and correctly made as far as his composition. Talked about him structurally. Calf is just made the right way. And so with that being said, the calf in the middle, young lady there, is our champion. Congratulations.
And your champion junior market steer comes out of Class 139, goes to entry number 35, Easy Nilo's Little Tank, exhibited by Kylie McDonald. Congratulations.
Well, the battle between 1 and 3, and again, this last calf that we just saw is just really hitting the mark right now in terms of the extra body development and natural substance that he presents. Maybe we could pick on him for being a little shorter-sided, but he will be our reserve champion. Nice job, young lady, there in the green. Nice.
And your reserve champion junior market steer goes to entry number 38, J.H. the Grinch, exhibited by Adeline Jackson. Congratulations.
So as we get out in this group of showmen again, kids, I love their effort, and just went through and visited with them about maybe a couple things to tune on at home. I already kind of had my mind made up, and I think there's a person here that just did a nice job being aware of feet and legs and getting that animal set up and getting it presented. Did it not only in showmanship, but did it in the classes before, and that's something that I would sure tell these kids. You know, sometimes when showmanship's at the end of the show, most folks are paying attention to how you show throughout the day, so make sure every time you hit the gate, you turn on your showmanship and keep it going on all the way out the gate to the back, because that judge is always watching. So again, great job, young people. Young man in the middle is going to be your champion. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Well, as we get to this point in showmanship, again, a great group of young people all day long. It's truly been a pleasure working with them, and showmanship just has continued on with good competition. You know, got to visit with each one of them, and ultimately, you know, first question for all of them was, "Are you having fun?" Because I think that is the most important question we can ask them, particularly at this point, but all the way through. Is that should be our first goal. We want them to enjoy it. And you know, there's sometimes it's easier to enjoy it than others, but ultimately that's our goal. And they all, you know, for the most part said, "Hey, I'm having fun." And I said, "Well, okay, let me see a smile then." And I'm not saying we got to have a big grin, but I want to see them having fun out here, do a nice job, visit with each one of them a little bit. For me, there's an individual that just really impressive for not only getting that animal presented, getting those feet and legs where they need to be, but at this age to have, you know, ring awareness of where you're at, but also judge awareness where the judge is at, and keeping an eye on that and still keeping your animal set up. Just really impressive, and one that I think is going to have a lot of showmanship banners in their future as well. Young man out there in the corner on the right is going to be our champion. Let's give him a big round of applause, please. Well, as we get out here into our Supreme Showman Drive, really tough competition. You know, you guys didn't have a huge show, but I think from quality and a per capita basis, not only the cattle but the kids were outstanding, and I commend you guys for that. Let's give them a big round of applause, please. Just getting out here, one little thing, and I'm not a big questions guy in showmanship because I think we have Quizbo competitions for those. But I think, you know, when we get to separating some awfully good showmen, there's some things that I like to ask. I like to ask them, if you could change anything about your animal, what would you change? And I think there's merit in that, not only from developing them as future breeders and breeders even today, but also from your showmanship skill standpoint. Sometimes you can show some of those issues out of them, but you got to be aware of them, be honest with yourself. That way we can take the steps and have a game plan on, you know, say they do have a little tailhead, making sure we keep that thing tucked in. If, you know, their chest or front end's an issue, making sure we have their head and straightness and elevation maybe where it needs to be to make it look the best. Just some of those little things I think can sure separate them out. And I think it's an awfully close decision. I think I could have a champion in reserve extremely easy, and I still think on any given day this could go one way or the other, because I do think these kids are just doing an outstanding job. Thanks again for having me. It's been really a pleasure. I'll go select your champion. Please give these kids another big round of applause. Thank you to the North American and American Aberdeens for having me.
Let's give our judge, Blake Nelson, another round of applause for coming out and evaluating your American Aberdeen show. And that will conclude your Aberdeen show here at the North American. Congratulations to all exhibitors. And again, congratulations to all exhibitors here at your Aberdeen show. Next in this ring will be the Wagyu show.